Hello, welcome to Encore. I'm Richelle Harrison Plesse. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's film show.
The story of the Negro in America is the story of America. It is not a pretty story.
If there's too many white people, I get nervous.
No. No.
A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Where is it?
And here to talk about those films and lots more, I'm joined by France 24's film critic, Lisa Nesselson. Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. Now, we kick off with the hotly anticipated sci-fi thriller Alien Covenant, directed by heavyweight Ridley Scott, who was, of course, behind the original Alien and the previous Prometheus film. Now, Lisa, French audiences are the first to see the latest Alien.
They are. It's coming out here before the UK and the US. You know, I saw the original Alien when it first came out in 1979, and I still remember it vividly. I saw Alien Covenant less than 24 hours ago, and I'm not sure it made what you'd call an indelible impression. You know, Stephen Hawking, certified smart guy, has recently revised his prediction about how long we as a species have to leave this planet. He used to say we had about 1,000 years, and recently he said, it's more like 100. I don't know if I can rack up enough frequent flyer miles in that amount of time. In the film, the year is 2104, and the spaceship Covenant is on a colonizing mission to a planet that's still 7 years away in space travel. They have 2,000 colonists and about 1,100 embryos on board, but they get sidetracked to another planet that at least seems like it's potentially suitable. Let's take a look.
You've all sacrificed so much to be here. To be a part of this. It's the first ever large-scale colonization mission to go this far into our galaxy. You're making history. And everyone back on Earth is really grateful for your hard work and your courage. To the Covenant! To the Covenant!
Now, for anyone who happened to miss Intro to Film Aliens in school, extraterrestrials tend to fall into two general categories. I would say smart and wise, like in the film The Day the Earth Stood Still, or ultra-menacing and evil, like in War of the Worlds. And then there are those are classics, but more recent films give us E.T., who is actually a baby, a very young alien who's sort of stranded away from home, and Alien with that brilliant tagline, "In space, no one can hear you scream." So, faced with Ridley Scott's Alien Covenant, should we be screaming for our money back? Well, no. You get your money's worth, well, you do if you go to the bargain matinee. It's well done, but it's not truly special. Although the special effects are top-notch, the human relationships are kind of perfunctory. I think I actually preferred the crew interactions in the recent space travel drama Life with Jake Gyllenhaal. The best parts of this film are definitely the scenes with Michael Fassbender, who plays a synthetic, a robot who is smart and brave, but who is also never going to die, and so has to keep himself sort of occupied for posterity.
So, Lisa, why is this sci-fi thriller not so thrilling, in your opinion?
Well, you know, the stories we tend to tell ourselves as humans are about survival, with the obvious subtext, give or take, Planet of the Apes or Soylent Green, that we humans are good. We're the crown of creation. The best parts of this film question that assumption. It's said that someone once asked Gandhi, "What do you think of Western civilization?" And he replied, "Well, I think it would be a good idea." Now, I'm anthropomorphizing him, but what in the world would happen if he turned on me? And, you know, these cameras that are looking at us, they're remote-controlled machines, but they may have a life of their own, and then what would we do?
I don't want to think about it. Lisa, now from sci-fi horror to a twisted horror comedy satire on so-called post-racial America, comedian Jordan Peele from Key & Peele fame gets behind the camera for the first time.
Yeah, this film proves that we do not need to leave, you know, our atmosphere to find scary life forms, because we have plenty of racists right here, for example. The recent French presidential election, alas, proved that. Get Out is a really smart movie that sticks with you. It starts out as one thing and turns into another, but in the best possible way. It messes with your thinking. If you're smug about race relations, it makes it harder to stay that way, but it does so in an incredibly entertaining manner. Now, there's an excellent social subtext, but it is couched in a pure genre flick. Great combination. At the outside, a lone black guy is walking down the street. He's been given the wrong directions. He's just minding his own business, and he's in a white suburb, and something happens. And that something sets the tone, that if you're minding your own business in supposedly civilized society, things can still go horribly wrong. Rose and Chris are a happy young couple living together in the city. She's white, he's black. He's a professional photographer, so his job is to look at things and truly see them. They're going to drive to her parents' house in the country, where Rose's folks will meet Chris for the first time. He's experiencing second thoughts about that. Do they know he's black? Has she mentioned it? Let's take a look.
When Obama was president, there was this feeling in this country that, like, we didn't want to talk about race. It was like, oh, there's a black president, so racism is done. This term post-race society kind of came around, and it was a lie. And this movie was about pointing out that even though some things may seem pleasant on the surface, there's a monster underneath.
Sir, can I see your license, please?
Wait, why?
Yeah, I have state ID.
No. He wasn't driving.
I didn't ask who was driving. I asked to see his ID.
Yeah, why? That doesn't make any sense.
Here.
You don't have to give him your ID because you haven't done anything wrong.
Baby, it's okay. Come on.
Anytime there's an incident, we have every right to ask. Ma'am,
Everything all right, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm good.
What I love about this film, which has been wildly successful, by the way, is that you can laugh and think at the same time, or jump out of your seat and then start thinking when, your heart rate goes back to normal. This is a movie where the black guy is the first character to get it, but that's just the beginning of the story, not the end. This is very well done social satire. Definitely make a point of seeing it.
Okay, well, I'm a huge fan of Jordan Peele, so I can't wait to see it indeed, Lisa. Next, this Oscar-nominated documentary is also making us rethink race in America, but in a totally different way from Jordan Peele's Get Out.
This is a stupendous film, far and away the most important movie we're talking about on today's show. Director Raoul Peck is originally from Haiti. He's a prominent director of fiction films and documentaries, and he's currently the president of La Fémis, which is France's ultra-elite filmmaking academy. The writings of American author James Baldwin had a profound influence on Peck as a young man from Haiti, a country of dark-skinned people with pretty good self-esteem compared to American blacks, since the people of Haiti, and we forget this, had fought and overcome the most powerful army in the world, that would be Napoleon's, and had abolished slavery way back in 1804 after the first ever successful slave revolt in history. James Baldwin started a text he was never able to finish about 3 American civil rights leaders, 3 very different men who were all murdered. Medgar Evers in June 1963, Malcolm X in February 1965, and Martin Luther King in April 1968. Baldwin's words, recited with great authority by Samuel L. Jackson, are the backbone of the film. Peck brilliantly edits together archival footage to illustrate and inform in conjunction with Baldwin's prose. But nobody spoke like the man himself. Here's Baldwin on American primetime television.
When the Israelis pick up guns, or the Poles, or the Irish, or any white man in the world says, "Give me liberty or give me death," the entire white world applauds. When a black man says exactly the same thing, word for word, he is judged a criminal and treated like one, and everything possible is done to make an example of this bad nigger so there won't be any more like him.
Lisa, this film insists on uncomfortable truths and really pushes them front and centre.
It absolutely does. And since in the U.S., which this movie is about, we're living in a time of debased language and the absolute lack of critical thinking that tends to accompany that, it is thrilling to hear Baldwin's purposeful erudition. It's not that he uses big or fancy words, he uses the right words. And boy, does he have something to say. Baldwin was a visionary on identity, a major writer and thinker. Baldwin wrote about his realization that the supposed heroes in the movies he grew up watching playing, say, John Wayne or Gary Cooper in a Western couldn't be his heroes because they were slaughtering Indians, and the Indians were in the same broad category as American blacks. The black has to be sacrificed to save or advance the white man. Just as Jordan Peele stated a little earlier, the idea of a post-racial America is kind of ludicrous. The gaping wound left by slavery is still very much interwoven into daily life, and this brilliant documentary helps describe why you can make a case for the fact that racism is primarily a white problem.
Okay, well, I Am Not Your Negro is certainly on my list of must-see films. Now, finally, The Idol is a classic underdog rags-to-riches tale about a Palestinian singer's hungry ambition to be a pop star.
It is, and that sounds unlikely, but The Idol is a lovely, inspiring film. It really shouldn't work because it's one of those based on a true stories that you'd be sitting there going, oh, yeah, right, that's just too good to be true. But Hani Abu Assad, the same Palestinian director who did the blood-chilling Paradise Now about suicide bombers intent on carrying out an attack in Tel Aviv, here instills heart and depth into this absolutely improbable tale. It's wonderfully cast. It looks at the childhood and young adulthood of Mohamed Assaf, a gifted young singer in Gaza. In fact, the film's French title is Le Chanteur de Gaza, the singer from Gaza. As a boy, he has a band with his sister and two friends. They experience hardship and tragedy and unfair treatment because the Gaza Strip, to put it mildly, is a challenging place to grow up. As they get older, one of the members turns to hardcore Islam and decides music is decadent. It turns out that Arabic-speaking countries have their own garish, wildly popular answer to American Idol, which was a spin-off of the UK's Pop Idol called Arab Idol. And our young hero desperately wants to go to the auditions, but to do so, he has to make his way out of Gaza and get to Cairo, where they're being held, which is, of course, next to impossible for a poor Palestinian without travel documents. As underdog tales go, this one is as intelligent as it is touching. I really enjoyed it.
It sounds good. Thank you so much for that, Lisa. So many good films to catch this week in the cinema. Now, we'll leave you with a clip of The Idol. For more arts and culture news, do head to our website and connect with us on social media. Stay with us. Lots more coming up after this.
بدنا أدوات موسيقية.
المصاري اللي معكم بيجيبوش وتر بسوق البالي.
إذا بتحلمي بدك تعمل فرقة موسيقية وتغزل في هذا الوقت والله إنك مجنونة. أنت بتقدر تعمل أكتر من هيك.
خليش حد يخليك تحس إنه أحلامك مش مهمة. ماشي؟
الفرصة قدامك دلوقتي علشان تكون النجم الجديد.
نقاش فرانس 24 جدل الآن وحديث وتعليق من وفي كل مكان.
France 24, c'est une passerelle entre les cultures, c'est la diversité.
It's also a great way of sharing it and discussing it on social media.
We give a voice to women and girls, whoever they are, wherever they are.
هل تعرفون باريس؟ أحقاً تعرفونها؟ تابعوا France 24 لمعرفة الناس.
Tout ce que vous avez toujours voulu savoir sur l'Europe, c'est sur notre chaîne.